Hello everybody, Ben Garris here, and welcome back to the Borderlands series. Now we're getting into the final one I plan to play at the moment. I don't know if I'm going to play 4 yet. Not really sure. Gonna wait and see. So let's get into it. We're going to be playing Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and as you can see, I've already got a character. He's already made it up to 40 and made it to the epilogue, so I have played this game before, so I remember a little bit about the playing of it. I don't remember exactly everything, but I also remember grinding out to max level in record time with my brother and friends of his. Just because farming this game can be a little crazy. But anyway, let's get into it right now, and let's begin a new game. This is one of those things that's kind of cool about this is I played this game before playing Dungeons and Dragons for the first time, and then I played it after the fact. So it's fun to kind of get some of the references to it. But one thing I do have a question about, though, is this is the weird thing, right? Is this is kind of a spin-off of the main series, right? So it's not meant to be a sequel to like any of the mainline games, from what I understand. But this seems like young Tina again, which makes me think that this is between Borderlands 2 and 3. So I wonder why that is. We have to buy classes. Gay! Alright. My brother played a Spore Warden mixed with something else, because you can like dual class in this game, so I kind of wanted to try this one out, just to have our little mushroom pal. I'm gonna call you Steve. Let's see if I remember that throughout the rest of this series. Remember that my little mushroom pal is Steve. Why would you default to they, them? It's one of those things where every time I get a pronoun thing, I really wish there was an entry where you could just put in racial slurs. I identify as racial slur. You can only refer to me by any of the racial slurs in existence. Yeah, think about it. I could just make this guy just a Shrek-like character. Just big and green. This is one thing. I don't have a lot of the DLC for this game, so I think I just have the base game, so we won't have to worry about DLC stuff. I looked up how long this game takes on average, and it says completionist is like 50 hours. So I'm assuming that we might beat this in maybe 40-ish. Just, I don't know, like Borderlands 3, like the complete edition or whatever that I had, said it would take like 100 hours to complete, which I clearly didn't do it in 100 hours. I think I did it in like probably 60 max. So I'm running on sort of like half the time it typically takes to get through some of these things. See, you're going to be called Forever Shrek. Yeah. Let's do this. Yeah, as far as I remember of this game, there aren't really any collectibles per se, as much as like little things like this. So it's not going to be like Borderlands 3 where there's a ton of like go to read this log, and then go to like defeat this enemy, and then go to track down this person or whatever. Like from what I understand, this is a little bit more straightforward than Borderlands 3, which will help with getting through it faster. Which I don't really plan to speedrun it or anything, but I don't want to waste time on it. You know, like I don't want to waste time whenever I play a game. Bring it on. I said bring it on. Crab? We hate crabs. We eat crabs where I'm from.
'Twas cruel of them to send you
Crabs
to
are
me.
bitches where I'm from. I remembered liking the skeleton voice actor. Yeah. Got a very Skeletor sort of energy to it, and I always found that kind of funny. One thing I don't get is like the menu opens up, but tab doesn't close it. Like it opens with tab, but it doesn't close with tab. That's a weird... It's just weird. I like that one. The power of friendship prevails! Evil friendship! I need to check something, actually. Is there... gameplay. Is there one of those things like in Borderlands 3 where you can... No, it doesn't look like it. I was hoping there'd be an option to turn, like, weaker weapons into loot or cash. I like that mechanic in Borderlands 3 a lot. I think it helps declutter your inventory while also giving you useful resources. Open world! I remember this part being cool. I really liked this open world sort of way to do things. It's very. It makes it feel like a video game that's about playing on a board game, and I think that's kind of a cool blend. All right, so there's the snoring. Oh God, look at our head. What are you doing in my swamp? I got the objective mixed up, and I thought it said Punch Bright Hoof. The one bad thing I didn't like about the the one thing about the encounters in the grass is that sometimes they're kind of random, and after a while they kind of get in the way of you doing things. This is the weird thing. Like the last time I played this game, I basically went through it in like a speedrun format to grind to max level, and then my brother and I played it just kind of as is and didn't really think about much of the story. So it was a kind of a weird experience. It was the thing where you're playing a game instead of like experiencing the game, kind of a thing. Like you're not really paying attention to it.
The key.
Okay, I don't know which one of these to pick, so I choose you.
I see that watery world of imagination has caught your eye.
Content elevator. Oh, are you kidding me? Is this just baiting?
Add spice to your life.
A presence in this mirror burns from heart.
Wow, this is all like DLC
and
stuff.
Apparently a burrito that
Well,
disagreed
thanks
with
for
him.
nothing. Thanks for nothing. This is the weird thing, right? Like I've seen the main sort of like because I've technically beat the game before. I've seen the main sort of like I've seen the main sort of amount of main quests there are. Like there's 11 chapters, right? So what chapter are we in now? Like this is probably still chapter 1, right? So I'm not really sure when we sort of like how much content is in between main quests. I mean, I kind of have half a mind to do main quests, focus that, and then do all the side stuff afterward, which could work, but I don't know how much is locked off.
In a glinting manner.
Yes, I just don't know how much is locked off, sort of, you know, sort of the after you beat the game. Like, how much is tied to characters that may die in the campaign, sort of a thing.
Though his armor is scarred by 100 battles, his honor is untarnished. It's Paladin Mike!
Oh yeah, I remember you. You were the... You were the token trans character.
Citizen! Over it!
Ye old kaboom. One thing I really do like is I like the commitment to the stupid. I think that works in the game's favor, where they commit to the stupid stuff introduced in previous games, like Butt Stallion from Jack. I'm still wondering if I should focus main stuff and then do side stuff later, or try to mix and match it as we go, sort of a thing. Because there's not going to really be an arc to the game if we do all the main stuff first, and then it's a bunch of side stuff later on, because I don't have the DLCs, so I don't really know sort of what's there afterward, like after the main story, you know.
Perhaps you could cross.
Oh, I can name my pet. I'm gonna call him Lil Shroomy, in honor of his shroominess.
You die.
Die. Leave me alone.
I get your desire to live, truly.
Damn it.
I do.
This is the one thing about the encounters up top is if you just mistime the attack, you have to deal with an actual encounter instead of a quick little smack. You know, that does get kind of annoying. Gonna max out attunement, then probably stick all the rest of our levels into Constitution. And then after that, I'm not sure. So one thing I was just thinking about, it's like,
It's technology.
have we seen like any men in the game? Like actual men yet that aren't villains or just stupid? I mean, outside of the player character, because the player character can kind of pick whatever. It's like, so far the only like main male characters are Valentine, the self-obsessed guy, and then the Dragon Lord, as far as I remember. I think everyone else is a woman so far. which I normally wouldn't point out, but it's one of those things that, you know, just seems a little odd when the majority of the cast are women. If I remember correctly, a lot of this, like, this game's a little bit paced a little bit differently from the other games in the series, where you have a high chance of getting to max level before the end of the campaign, as opposed to a lot of the other games where that's not typical. It's just one of those things that I've been wondering about, like, with this game, is how far we'll actually get in terms of different sort of things that we can do in the game. Because I don't want to do any grinding or anything, and the thing is that because I don't have any of the DLC, I don't actually have much to worry about in terms of stuff to do after the main quest. Like, if we just do side quests when available, we should be good.
Glornet, would you like to see my bedroom?
I thought you'd never ask.
And now I have questions I don't really want to be thinking about. I like how they just left Butt Stallion's corpse there. Because our queen is dead! And just leave her body out. This is one thing. I'm not going to worry too much about completionism, like, in its entirety. It's mainly just a matter of, you know, am I able to get through most of the quests? You know, or at the very least, attempt most of the quests. Mount Craw! I just imagine that in a bird type of voice for some reason. It makes sense. Shut up. This is the one thing too, right? Like, when you look at the quest, they give you like sort of a recommended level in it. The main quest is 11. So I'm assuming that they kind of intend for you to do the side content before getting to the main quests, sort of in between doing little chunks of the side content as well. What the hell? What the hell, game? That should not have been a death. I was going down a path that led to another path. Fuck you. Oh, how do we do this? Ammo. I'm thinking ammo, because ammo's nice. Alright, regenerate stuff in the clip. Does it regenerate the ammo in the inventory? It does not appear to. Okay, so this is purely just whatever clip you happen to have open at the time. Which isn't bad. That's not bad. But it would be nice if you just regenerated what's in your pocket.
You're all set. Now head to the quarry out back. That magic ore isn't gonna mine itself. There's the quarry. Ah! It looks like Master Tunhammer's locked it up. You can pick locks, right?
Oh, we're gonna pick this lock. Yeah, joke executed. I am a dwarf and I'm digging a hole. Diggy diggy hole. Diggy diggy hole. My name is Shrek and I'm digging a hole. Diggy diggy hole. Diggy diggy hole. I am a green fuck who's digging a hole. For my own swamp. For my own swamp. I forget, can I fast travel to these points? I can. That's helpful. Praise be to fast travel. It wouldn't be fast travel if it was slow, wouldn't it? It'd just be slow travel. And then that would just be suck travel. I'm gonna shut up now. As much as I like the shark gun, wow, I'm thinking of shit right now. As much as I like the shotgun, I think I'll probably take that. That's gonna be a lot better than the stuff we did earlier. The stuff we used earlier. I've noticed I've not been saying that much about this game, and I don't really know why I'm not having a reaction that much to the game. Normally I have. Like Borderlands 3, I had a lot to say. Now granted, that was completely new to me, and I had next to no idea what happened in the game. But this just feels like... I feel like I should be saying more, and I'm just not. And I'm not going to force reactions just to have something to say each episode. It's just... It's kind of like... Eh. Alright, attunements maxed out. Sweet. This is the one thing I ranted about in the Borderlands 3 thing is why can't we just... Like, why can't these things be locked behind level as opposed to quests? You know? It's just arbitrary restrictions are annoying. Why can't I go through shrubbery? Why?
Break the ever-loving out of that thing!
Fuck you! I said fuck you!
Yeah, we ain't doing it! We're saving the magic!
Okay, apparently my graphics have glitched out for some reason.
Go and kick some rear! My loot's charged the up with magic! Now point me at your noble vessel! Ha ha! Vessel!
That one right there.
You're going out in that piece of steak! You're braver than I thought!
Why is everyone besmirching the good name of the good ship Balzania?
Because it's a piece of crap.
No, your precious rules are what's a piece of crap.
I see them. Shoot, your party is divided. We can't cast a blessing with these vibes. We need a jam session. Lay down a beat. Vibe check. Transpose your feelings into beautiful music.
Frecht, Valentine likes playing bunkers and badasses because he gets to feel like a hero and he's willing to ignore the rules in order to have fun.
Ugh, fine. Valentine, I'm not trying to kill your fun. I love bunkers and badasses because of the rules. Think about it. In the real world, things just happen for no reason. Here, I know how things work. It's relaxing.
Yeah, yeah. Now the harmonies and some magicizer. Vibe check encore, mother.
Valentine, Fred uses the rules to have fun, which means sometimes you gotta take them seriously. Okay?
I guess I'm using it as an escape too. Out there, I'm just going from job to job, worrying about how much fuel our spaceship has and blah, blah, blah. In here, I have a purpose. I get a new ship, a noble quest, and a chance to be a hero. Instead of just, you know, the idiot who crashed our spaceship.
What is this kumbaya bullcrap? We're almost there. It just needs one more thing. We need some ding-a-ling! Ding-a-ling on that thing-a-ling! That's garbage! More ding-a-ling! More!
Brett, I swear an oath to try a little harder to pay attention to the rules.
Thank you. And I swear I want to help you complete that quest and keep the good ship Balzania safe from harm.
I declare this party of heroes undivided! And very visible.
The vibes! They're too powerful! This isn't a blessing! It's a blasting! I cast magic missile! Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Wait! Loot! The hour is nigh, adventurer! We're blowing that nose into kingdom! You come!
That is not how magic missile works.
But what about the whales? I care about nature!
It's so beautiful! New ocean, I'll see you in hell!
The nefarious ocean has been defeated. Our well-thought-out, character-rich story continues!
Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Serves you right, treacherous ocean. Burn in the 13 hells.
Yeah, oh yay! All kinds of unlocks. Good point. Good. Good time to progress and look at stuff. I kind of like the idea of having, like, multiple pets at the same time, but I don't know if I actually can. Okay, now I have 2 hero points, so I need more health. Health and attunement, and then after that, I got no idea. So, let's see. Yeah, we do get the 2 pets. Yeah. Upon going through the main menu, I saw that the main quest is on Chapter 6. So we've, apparently we've gone pretty far. If we're basically halfway through the campaign at this point. At the very least, we're at the halfway point and about to reach it, so that's interesting. Now let's get into side content. Just lots of side content. I didn't realize this was fully automatic. I've been clicking it like a dumbass the whole time. My pets have been killing everything while I've been over here reading loot. That's one of the reasons why this build is helpful. So the critical hits have a chance to ricochet, dealing reduced damage to nearby enemies. That would be very helpful. So I think we might work our way down to that. I think of it, beefing up passives is usually a thing that I think works really well. So I think we'll keep boosting our pets. Oh wait, can I customize anything here? No, I'll have to do that later. I want to give my wyvern a pet. I want to stick with the theme. I want to call him Little Wyvie. That is immensely uncreative, but I don't care. Wait a minute. See, the game keeps giving me the option to equip a ring in either slot, but I don't have both slots open. The game is lying to me. It's taunting me. I like how we kill the proper Smurfs. Feels good. Little bastards had it coming. I'm not really into the restores health via damage thing. It seems to be very like the damage is usually very weak, and that doesn't really offset the fact that, you know, some of these guns are better off with, you know, higher damage and no health restoration than lower damage with a tiny bit of health restoration, because, you know, what's the point of restoring health per shot if you're just going to be weak the entire time? Woo! Go flying! Shroom? I'm trying to think of it, this whirlwind thing is actually really good against little weak enemies like this. Come to think of it, I must nuke myself, see how much damage it does to me. Next to nothing! That's good. I can't even tell if they actually did that to me. Or if I did that to me. That's a pretty cool weapon. I want to use that. It's less damage, but it just sounds cool. I'm also hitting people with a loot, so that's pretty cool. This is one thing I've noticed about this DLC, the more I sort of play it, is it's full of stuff to do, but not a whole lot of stuff that's, like, worth talking about, if that makes sense. You know, like, it's a thing where, like, there's a lot of different areas to go to that give you a piece of something that gives you a bonus, right? But when it comes to, like, something narratively to talk about, there's, like, nothing, right? When it comes to, like, something beyond just, there's a place to do combat to get a reward that gives you a buff, right? Anything beyond that, there's, you know, not a lot sort of past that, which isn't necessarily, like, a bad thing. But it is one of those weird things where playing this game, part of the reason why I'm not talking so much is because there's not a whole lot to talk about besides the fact that I have completed objective that nets me loot. Or nets me a buff, or something. You know, it's not... There's nothing to really add, like, commentary over besides the fact that I have gained loot. Now we move on to get more loot. It's a very weird experience. Like, the other games were, like, chock full of all kinds of different things to do that were quest-related, whereas this is more, like, combat-related. It's just one of those strange things I've noticed about this game in particular. It's just there's a lot of... It's the content, and the breadth of the content in this game is much more focused on the combat as opposed to, like, quests with dialogue and stuff. Which, again, isn't really a bad thing. It's just something I've noticed as I've been playing through it, and it's like, it's kind of... it's kind of weird for the sake of people like me that kind of commentary, like create commentary over gameplay, you know what I mean? It's a very weird sort of experience. Face fire damage from the loot of hell! It's less damage, but I need to spend sort of like, I need to put my damage into different sort of avenues.
Oh, sweet, look.
Something about this game that's a little different from the others is that like it's very heavy on the elemental damage doing specific things. You know, like the elemental damage plays a big part in doing this period, right? So it's one of those things where I'm sitting here like, okay, I need to actually have like a varied setup of weapons that deal different types of damage. It's like my tornadoes deal frost damage, my weapon deals fire damage, I've got 2 guns that deal shock and corrosive. That covers a good bit of what I need.
The bow must be in that chest. Oh, I can hardly wait.
Wow. I hadn't even thought about that during this quest. Actually, we don't have any other side quests, I don't think, right? Like at all. I think the quest appeared... Like, I think these quests appeared even if you hadn't sort of, like, been to the area of the map, I think? If I remember correctly? I don't recall off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure that the quest will pop up on the map whether you've been in the local area or not. Because I'd like to do all the side quests before we get to the final main quest. Just for the sake of pacing this series as it sort of goes along. This is some cool artwork. I like stained glass windows. They're very... They're pretty. I don't have anything deeper than that. I just think they're neat. I'm starting to wonder if these things carry over between characters, because, like, I swear the cube things should be here. I feel like the cube things, or not the cube things, the dice should be, like, consistent, but on a player basis, not across an account. Alright, more constitution, lots of health, lots of pet damage. That'll be the strategy. Oh, that'd be good. That'd be real good. Yeah. Oh, please tell me he opens up the gate up here. Oh, please. Please let it be so. Oh, please.
Over here, hero! Ooh, you done wrecked them bad guys good, hero!
Yes!
Paladin Mike
yes!
authorized me to open the Royal Reserve. I don't know what's inside. It's above my pay grade.
Ah, beautiful! Nice.
Zumios, the patron god of power walking, speeds up your walking speed as you cross the Wonderlands.
Oh, that is much faster. Bean slide. Get yours today. 1-800-BEAN-ME. This is an advert for bean shit. Would you like to buy some bean shit? Call 1-800-BEAN-SHIT. No, that number doesn't work, but we tried to make it work anyway.
What does your kind like for treats, anyway? Blood?
Hide like a chicken.
Everybody likes blood. They always
Very,
get mad when I
very
try to
tactical
do something,
chicken. Your weak point is the tip of your head. Just like me. One thing I've noticed while playing this is that a lot of the enemies... Or not the enemies, but a lot of the abilities are sort of self-cast, sort of... not self-cast, but they're like... A lot of the abilities are sort of automated, right? So the game kind of plays itself if you just hit a few buttons. Which on the one hand is kind of fun that, you know, your abilities automatically track enemies and that helps you, like, deal a lot of damage to a lot of different enemies. But at the same time, it kind of takes away from the whole point of, like, shooting several of the enemies yourself. You know, when you can just automatically get things to, like, happen by just hitting, like, a button. Ironically enough, I kind of want to play more of the overworld stuff than the actual core gameplay mechanics of the Borderlands series at this point.
There it is! Now keep those things off me!
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but either way, I would love to play more overworld stuff. Oh, man. This is one thing about, like, both of these builds, that they rely very much on sort of passive damage coming through different sort of avenues, whether it's coming from your pet killing things itself or some sort of like ricochet effect from like a spell that you have or something, or like a passive defense mechanism you have.
Together we stormed o'er many a shore, an oath to the other we both swore. Why, Charlie was my true amour, blow me bony boys blow. He drew the skeleton man, his song of woe heard cross the sands. One day when our penance is done, we'll take our chance and go.
It's really weird, right? Because ever since playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag, that's like my default pirate game whenever I think of like sea shanties and stuff. I need to replay that for the channel. Or play that for the channel, because I remember having so much fun playing that game with the piratey stuff in it. See, this is one thing that I think is actually kind of cool. Like the thing that this game sort of experiments with, the whole idea of having like the overworld exist sort of between major areas. Because one big problem that the series has had for a long time is just fluff. Right, like just fluff, or not even fluff, just big gaps of where you're traveling from A to B. And while Borderlands 3 did mitigate that with fast travel being a little bit more accessible, and this game has done a much better job with that, just by having the overworld essentially be the thing that takes you from area to area. So while you're still traveling from place to place, the gap in between content isn't as vast as it typically has been. And that's one thing that kind of gives me hope for this series moving forward on like a mechanical level. I think writing-wise, I'm still bummed out after Borderlands 3, just because it still has a lot of problems. I think that the series could mechanically improve still, based on what I've seen in this sort of spin-off. But then again, I don't know if this spin-off will use any sort of the mechanics that you know, like carry. I wonder how much of the mechanics of this spin-off will carry over into Borderlands 4, because I'm curious of like how the game would handle things, because the overworld aspect works with the concept of this this game, right? Like this is a Dungeons and Dragons style type of spin-off, right? So to have like an actual game board kind of makes sense. The other games don't have that element inherently, so there's really no need to have the overworld stuff. So it's just one of those things where I wonder if they'd carry over stuff like this, or if there'd be like a significant difference one way or the other. That's a lot more base damage. This is the thing though, is I don't like the torque guns. Right, I don't like their sort of limited, like they're explosive. They're fun in the same way that grenade launchers in games are fun. They explode. That's entertaining. But when it comes to shooting stuff, yeah, there's a bunch of extra logistics that you need, and in this game it just seems like it's dropping a shit ton of torque weapons. When I would much rather prefer like the Tediore variant or the Dahl variant, you know. Ah, shit, that was stupid. Looks like someone's supposed to... It's one of those weird things where in games you assume that someone would appear somewhere because it looks like that there's like a set of things over there that would match someone's cosmetic, right? But then you wonder, is that just dressing, or is that like an actual place where someone will appear later?
Alright. You spy a poetry page.
It's one of those weird things where, like, when she says you spy a poetry page right on top of where the poetry page is, you either have to wait for her to finish her dialogue so you can actually get the poetry page reading, or you end up missing it because you're trying to loot it.
Come, let us see where it leads. This way!
I am glad that they don't code these following encounters where you have to be right on top of him the whole time. He'll just run where he needs to go and stop if you get too far away.
Ah, that scoundrel still has the wooden leg.
That's a nice middle ground, as opposed to having to be right on top of them or having them completely leave you behind.
You there? Bring it here. Come on.
Aha! Big brain.
No, then
Just anything not to have a torque weapon at this point. I'm tired of torque.
Leave him be. We all deserve to poop in peace.
Amen.
Cry havoc.
I never heard a greater truth. We all deserve to poop in peace.
Long Brawn still there?
Killbear is there?
Yes, kill. Kill for your master.
You killed my coiled allies. Approach me so I might look upon their killer.
It's one of those things, right? Like, dialogue cutting off when you kill people too quickly is something you really need to take into account when making a game like this. Because it can create considerable problems.
Whoever you are.
I miss straight couples.
Rude Alex. You failed to stop my plot against the people of Brighthoof and Life. So now you return in death. I
Is that Bakugo's English voice actor?
But the town is mine.
Sounds like it. Man, I need to catch up on My Hero Academia. I'm like a full season behind. I need to catch up.
Nope.
Precarious cliffside platforming!
Oh, great!
Yay, platforming. Woo! I actually don't have anything against platforming in games. It just really depends on, do the mechanics support platforming? You know, like average game like this, okay, decent platforming. Just kind of depends on if you make the gaps fair. Platforming in a Souls game? No. Bad. That's a lot more damage. Actually, that's so much damage that we're probably better off to use that rather than have the electrical one. Honestly, I don't know why I loot stuff anymore now that I think about it. It's like, the only thing that I would really probably enjoy looting is all the, like, cosmetic stuff. It's like, my ammo regenerates. Most of the gear I'm going to pick up is stuff I'm probably not going to use anyway. It's just one of those things where I'm probably better off just to not loot anything until I actually want to swap it out for something else. I love his little hat. Why does that start out in negatives? It's such a weird... It's like having a negative level for health bar or something. It's like, why? Like, the lowest you should have in games, in my opinion, is 0, right? 0 should be the lowest stat possible. I do remember some of these encounters being a little slow. I don't know if it's because the spawn rate for some of these things are, like, down in some areas for no real reason, or if it's just I'm better at the game than I was previously, so things are taking, like, they're being killed faster, so they're not spawning at the sort of appropriate rate that the developers sort of designed it to be at. I don't know.
Thank you, kind hero. I know that he'll never return to me, but I had to make sure he was at peace. Wait, hold up. I just got sad. Crabbert the crab was actually just asleep. Crabbert! You're alive! Who's the pinchiest boy? Is it you? It's you!
Kinda undercut the emotion of the moment.
Shut up! It's a magical world and I say pets live forever!
This is one of those things, actually, that kind of... I've noticed in a lot of writing, not just in sort of like this game, with moments like this, and with Tina really wanting her character to get sort of like the attention she wanted it to get. But it's that thing where people undercut serious moments so often that they forget that when they do that, you are... You're doing more damage to the serious moments than you realize, right? Like, when you don't let serious moments breathe, and when you don't let serious moments happen when they should, you know, and you try to just undercut it with a joke to make people laugh, just so they don't feel too bad, you're taking the emotional resonance of that moment out of your project, no matter what it is, whether it's a book, a movie, a game, whatever it is, right? You need to let serious moments breathe, right? And there's a difference between levity and overcomplication, right? Like a little joke here and there, can help lighten the mood, right? But there are times where you just gotta let serious things sit. Right? Like that quest would have worked better, in my opinion, if you just didn't have the ending attached to it. Like you return the shell or whatever, and then she's just like, okay, I'll have to grin and bear it. You know, something that is mature and helps to deal with different sort of, you know, it takes itself seriously. You know, and this is one of those things where, like, yeah, this is Tina's game, she decides how it goes, and blah, 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 right? But it is one of those things where just because it's her game doesn't give it the game excuses to, you know, like, just because it's her game doesn't make the story limitations any better for anybody, right?
Queen's Navy was first
Just one of those weird things. Just getting back to the discussion about it, it's just let serious moments breathe. It's good for your story. It's good for the story you're telling to take things seriously, because the more people take things seriously, the more they will become invested.
Entrance to the ruins. There may be
Whoa.
other more powerful secrets deeper inside. Help me reach them.
Dude.
And any material, a simple ward bars the way.
Okay,
Allow
that
me
was
to
just
dispel
weird.
it with a mere
Let's take a look at the shrine of Aaron G.
This shrine is dedicated to Aaron G, patron god of loot, baby.
I gotta wonder if that's an actual dev on the team that like designs and maintains like the loot system. This is one thing about this game, is that the encounters start to blend together after a while because you're kind of fighting different enemies in the same places. So like the level of overlap slowly creeps up on you. Shrine piece time. Final shrine piece time. This will actually help out a lot, because once we're done looking for shrine pieces, we don't really have to worry about unlocking a bunch of shit around the world, because the shrines give like an active mechanical bonus.
Nicely done.
The lore stuff is just lore stuff. You know, it's like, it's nothing besides just lore, so we can skip over that.
Mushroom bloom of doom.
Also because it'll help speed things along with doing some of these last few quests we have, which I don't think we're actually going to have that much left to do in the overworld after we do the shrines, now that I think about it. Probably just go to area with quest objective, and then complete quest objective, and then move to next area with quest objective. There's probably not going to be hardly any overworld stuff after this. Which I'm kind of okay with. Like, I feel okay with. You know, we're getting near the end of the game. We're getting near the end of the content of the side quests. You know, like we've got, I think it said 8 side quests left. It feels good. We're near the end. It feels good to be near the end. Also because I'm ready to get into another franchise, because I have Subnautica planned up next. So I'm looking forward to playing the regular Subnautica again. And I'm also looking forward to going through Below Zero again, just so I can re-experience it and hopefully actually finish it. Since the last time I played it for the channel, I took those videos down because the game, the game screwed me, where I couldn't progress. Just, it did not load an area, and my entire save was screwed. Which is fun. That was fun. Then I didn't go back to the game because I was having issues with it. We'll see if I can rekindle those issues. You stop stealing health? Piece of shit. Please die, please die. Please die, will you fuck off with your self-healing? Are you fucking kidding me? What the hell? Please die. Holy shit. Fuck you. That health regen bullshit was fucking annoying. I swear, I keep getting recommended things for builds that aren't my own. Like, I hardly ever see a mix of Clawbringer and a Spore thingy. Like, I swear, like, I never see them. I never see those two combo together, and I don't understand why. It's like you'd think the loot algorithm would be tipped in the player's favor, where they will drop things the player will use.
Those who pick on the weak are no better than the little gray things I pull out of my belly button.
You're just as good as gold, eh?
I love that comment about pulling stuff out of your belly button. Such a random sort of insult.
Damn! A trap! Oh no! Run!
Oh wow, okay. Thanks for giving me the optional objective before I see the pathway. Thanks. Also didn't think the floor is lava applied to water. I'm still wondering when I get my next ring slot, because I don't think they locked it behind the last quest or something. Maybe the penultimate one, but either way, that's still not a very good idea. To be locking off unlock slots for a long time. Again, this is one thing I mentioned, is I really wish that things were tied to level as opposed to quest progression.
I would rather be copulating on a unicorn, if I'm being honest.
Now I'm just wondering if there's, like, legitimately a premise for having sex on, like, a unicorn in the Witcher series now. Or if it's just some over-exaggeration of something you do in one of the games. I've only played The Witcher 1, and I've played it for, like, 2 hours, so I've not really gotten the breadth of the Witcher experience. Bruh! There was an opening, fuck you! See, here's the thing, is like, it keeps giving me items that's not for my build combo. Why do you keep doing that, game? Why do you keep doing that? Why is it an optional objective to ground slam them? Are we able just to pick them up normally? Doesn't seem like it. This is one of those optional objectives that's not actually optional. And it's weird. There's something. We finally get something. We finally get something that boosts something across our entire skill tree again.
I've got the juice!
Oh, it feels good. It feels good to finally get something like that.
You have fallen for my trap. You are now in love with me.
You're a talking snake woman. Of course I love you.
It takes all kinds, I suppose.
It wasn't really a love potion, though, right? Just a nice gumbo?
Oh, you poor, poor, simple, stupid, dumb, idiot, baby brain, dumb head Valentine. The best way to someone's heart is through their tum-tums. That's why I keep shoving crumpets in Moxie's mailbox. Oh, yeah. Things are getting pretty serious between Moxie and me, I have to say.
Aren't you like 12 at the time of this story? This is weird. Tina, you've made this weird. It's really weird when they put multiple quest markers on the map and then they don't lead you to different quests. It's one of those things that kind of like hypes you up and then kind of kicks you down like immediately afterward. It's like, oh, there was content. I thought there was content. Meh. He's just having a moment. He's like, I give up. That's a sweet gesture. Alright, I'm gonna skip the rest of these credits though, just cause. Or I don't know if I can. Okay, never mind. I guess I could talk about the game while the credits roll. So I guess final thoughts on the game overall is I like the overworld element. This game's very punchy by comparison to the other games. There's not that long sort of drag in between doing things like it is in the other games where, you know, you're driving around the world constantly, you know, listening to dialogue. I think this game does a better job of blending the dialogue over top of you killing stuff, right? As opposed to just using the dialogue to fill in the spaces in between getting from A to B, which is what a lot of the other games did in the series, which on a first-time playthrough, it works pretty well. On subsequent playthroughs, it just becomes a period where I'm not doing anything because I already know the story, right? And I already know the jokes. This time around, there's a lot more active playtime. Like the ratio from playtime to downtime is much more favorable towards playing and doing stuff, which I think is a good thing. After all, it's a video game, so we play them. We don't experience them. We play them, right? So I think that overall this is a pretty good step forward in terms of dealing with some of the series issues. There were little bits and pieces of this game that had sort of old school Borderlands problems, like that one boss fight with the dragon that kept restoring like half its health every time it would hit me with an attack. That was a really needlessly tedious way to extend that fight in particular for no real reason. But apart from that boss fight, I think most of the other boss fights work pretty well that I can remember, and all of them do work for the sake of having an engaging boss fight that's not just bullet sponge. And this is one thing is I think of the games that are not mainline, since this and the pre-sequel are technically in that sort of realm, I prefer this way more than the pre-sequel. I think they use the Dungeons and Dragons-esque sort of gaminess very effectively here. Now, granted, I don't think this game is better than the DLC to Borderlands 2 that essentially does the same thing. I think that DLC as a whole package is tighter in terms of its writing, in terms of its characterization, in terms of what you do in that game and the references to other things in that game. Basically, I think that this is a really good expansion of that, but at the same time, it is sort of a thing where most of this is not very serious, right? And that's part of the thing that I think makes me not care as much about it as much as Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep, right? Like that DLC for Borderlands 2 carried some emotional weight because the entire time that you're going through the campaign of that DLC, you slowly begin to learn that this is basically Tina trying to come to terms with Roland's death, right? And so that kind of underscores a lot of the things that she does in the main story of that DLC. Whereas this one is her dealing with not wanting people to, leave her alone, basically. And while that can work, the narrative of this game doesn't really uplift that point very well. It's just kind of brought up here and there, and that's kind of it. It's not quite as poignant as dealing with Roland's death in Borderlands 2, and that's one thing I will give to Borderlands 2. I think the overall package for a Borderlands game. Now, granted, I've not played the DLC to this game, and I'm not going to buy it just for the sake of this walkthrough. Also, because I'm on a budget. But it is one of those things where, in terms of all the games overall, their total package, I think Borderlands 2 is the strongest one. Because it's got a really good campaign, a really good selection of DLCs that do different things. While they do have problems here and there, I think overall the story is best in Borderlands 2 overall. But I think the story of this one works pretty well, given how it's meant to be sort of a fun, more relaxed take on the whole D&D sort of thing. And I think that I like the ideas that they've introduced in this game that they probably won't have in Borderlands 4, just because I can't imagine Borderlands 4 would have the same sort of system as this, given that we had Borderlands 3 with its systems, with the galaxy exploration and that stuff. So I don't imagine they're going to shy away from that in the favor of like a board game style exploration system. Now, there is a way to do it where, you essentially take like a Civilization style grid or something, and you move around in an overworld that's sort of cosmic as opposed to fantasy. So that could be an interesting way to blend the old with the new. Or, not the old with the new, but like a blend Borderlands 3 sort of galaxy style with the Borderlands Wonderlands sort of open world sort of board game-esque thing. I think they could do something interesting with Borderlands 4, but again, I don't have a lot of hope after Borderlands 3. I really don't. Borderlands 3 let me down in a lot of different ways. And while this game was fun, and I had a good time playing it throughout the majority of the time, I still come back to it and think, this is a fun spin-off that doesn't really mean anything. And that's kind of my biggest issue with it, is that we don't really get that much of an insight into much outside of Tina herself, and it's stuff that doesn't really impact her later on when you look at the chronology of events, right? Like, unless they expand on stuff from this story in Borderlands 4, this doesn't really have any impact on Tiny Tina's character whatsoever, right? Like, it's like the impact is minute at best. And it's just one of those things that I just, it's one of those things where this is a fun spin-off that doesn't ultimately do anything, and I think that's both a blessing and a curse, right? Because it doesn't really impact much, it doesn't really change much, but it is one of those things when you look at stuff like the pre-sequel, that's a spin-off that gives you a lot of context for Borderlands 2, but also screws up a lot of things by giving you that context. And I've ranted about that in my pre-sequel in my pre-sequel series, and I've ranted about that in my Borderlands 3 series. It is a really just weird experience when you go through these games, and thankfully this game is self-contained, right? So that means that no problem introduced in this narrative is going to impact the other narratives as badly because it's isolated, right? Simply by just being isolated, right? Like, this story doesn't affect anything outside of the game that's being played during this game, right? That's a good thing. But it is one of those things where mechanically I enjoyed playing this game. Narratively, I think it has some charm, but it's not great. I don't really have any major problems with it, but I think it's a fun game, but not a great game, right? And I would say that if you were to play the games in release order, right? And I'm not talking about Tales of the Borderlands because I know those exist, but I've never played them. I don't actually know how well they play or what they even play like, so I'm excluding those. Borderlands 1, when you look at the time they sort of came out, Borderlands 1 is a little boring, but had a simple charm to it. Borderlands 2 is great. I will say that definitively. I think Borderlands 2 is great from pretty much every perspective. It's got a good blend of mechanics, exploration, and storytelling that I think are all pretty great. The pre-sequel has significant issues across different places. It's not a terrible game, but it has significant issues with its narrative, and it has significant issues during certain parts of its combat, especially with the class balancing. Like, playing as Claptrap was a horrible decision, right? I thought it was a joke. It's not. He's actually probably, like, really difficult to play with just because different bullshit. Along with the DLCs having significant mechanical issues with certain boss fights just taking 5 billion years to beat. It's not even because they're hard, it's just because they have trillions and trillions of HP. Borderlands 3, while mechanically enjoyable, there are, again, significant issues in that game. The narrative is fucking stupid. There's a lot of really dumb shit in the narrative. There are several boss encounters that are either underwhelming or extremely tedious. I'd cite the Troy and Tyrene fights as being the most tedious ones. Or not the tedious, but the most underwhelming fights, given that those two are the main antagonists of the fucking game. And then you have stuff like that last Mysterious Lair quest with the boss that just has a bajillion HP for no real reason. And and then the DLCs of that, I think, improve upon it. Most of the DLC for that game, I think, are, at the very least, inoffensive or good. I really enjoyed the Krieg DLC and the Moxie DLC. The Western one I didn't really care about one way or the other. It's kind of meh. And the Hammerlock DLC I thought was decent. Had some fun references in it. Overall, Borderlands 3 is kind of a mixed bag depending on what you're looking for, right? If you're really looking forward to the story, I think there's going to be significant issues in the base game. All right, but getting to this game, I think this game is sort of the epitome of just a fun spin-off that doesn't ultimately matter. and I think it does the best version sort of, or does a really, really good version of that sort of thing. You know, it's just one of those things where I think that this game is a really fun spin-off that doesn't mean anything, and that's fine, right? And I think that's it does what it set out to do pretty well all across the board, right? So it's just one of those things where I think it comes down to how they learn from this experience and how they expand upon this moving forward. Because it is clear that they will take ideas from spin-offs and add them to mainline games. We saw that with the pre-sequel, with its gravity, with its cryo damage, and slam attacks, and different stuff like that. They added that to Borderlands 3, they added it to this game. So it is clear that they are taking ideas from previous games and adding them to the newer ones. So we'll see how Borderlands 4 is. I don't know if I'm going to play it. I'm kind of 50-50. I'm not turned off from the series in general. I'm interested to see how they pick up the pieces from Borderlands 3, just because I think it has a really lackluster ending, and I hope they learn from the criticisms of Borderlands 3. I want the games to be an ensemble cast again. I don't want Lilith to essentially be the main character again. I don't want anybody to be the main character again. Are they really playing Gimme Chocolate right now? I know this is kind of a really just random rant, but it's like, hey baby metal's cool. But oh, damn it. That means this video is going to get copyrighted to crap, isn't it? That's going to suck. I might have to come back and mute all this endgame music, because this is the problem when they put copyrighted music at the end of games. It's like, this whole time, it's like, you know, this game's fun. I like all this stuff. And then it's like, well, I guess we're at the end of this, and here we go. Copyright strike. Yay. Anyway, I've said pretty much everything I'm going to say, so I'm just going to vibe with the music that y'all probably won't be able to hear, just for the sake of keeping this video up. So, if you don't know baby metal, it's kind of like cool sort of Japanese pop mixed with metal. It's fun. I enjoy it. Anyway, I'm just going to vibe until the credits are over. Of course we get a legendary that's not for our build.
Right, so it's just that the robe was a bit too hot.
Very well.
Oh,
We'll take it.
why do you quit dialogue so fast? Why do you want me to just sit there and wait?
Okay, bye.
Stop it.
You at my fresh...
Okay, yeah. We should have no more quests. That should be it. So let's go back to Brighthoof. And let's just revel in the fact that we finished up this franchise, and I don't know how I'm going to tackle newer games when I play these, because I end up pre-recording these like months in advance. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, so this should be the last episode of the regular runs of the Borderlands game series. We do have the highlight reel that will come out after this video, so look forward to that when it comes. If this is in the highlight video and you're watching it right now, congratulations, you're at the end of a very long train. So, yeah, so I'm just going to call it here, and I'd just like just to thank you all for coming along on this journey. I'm going to do Subnautica next, so we'll get into that when we get into that, but this is where we bid Borderlands adieu. To those of you who made it this far, thanks for watching. If you'd like to see my other stuff, there are links to all my channels in the description. The main channel focuses on critical analysis of various mediums. The gaming channel focuses on general playthroughs and chill gaming content. The music channel holds various musical mashups, documentaries, discussions, and original works. The ESAS channel features archives of my Every Saturday a Stream series, which happens, you guessed it, on Saturdays, where I stream whatever and we chat. You can also check out my religious channel where I read the Bible and talk about different stories of how my faith has impacted my life. If any of that sounds interesting to you, feel free to give it a shot. Whether you do or don't, I'd like to thank you again for watching, and God bless.